Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's program consists of September 23rd and to be completed with Sandbanks Park is now closed to the public for this year's camping season. Lonergans have now begun laying the Class A on the section of road that they are preparing to pave. Western Construction is presently working in the Top Pond Brook area.
Workers with Western Construction are still keeping quite busy. They're doing some drilling here at a rock quarry just this side of Top Pond Brook. Workers are busy here in the Top Pond Brook area, widening the road.
I spoke with Fire Chief Glen Matthews on Thursday night to find out the progress being made at the new fire hall and when they expect their new fire truck. Chief Matthews, when will you be moving the fire truck and van from the old fire hall to this one?
Right now today we're waiting for a new lock for our door down here. We got a problem with the lock. We've had a new set of panic hardware ordered for almost 2 months now and we're still waiting. So whenever we get the new lock in, that hopefully we'll move into this building.
When do you expect the arrival of the new fire truck?
As far as we know right now, it looks like it's going to be October 12th weekend. That's the latest we have.
What do you have left to do in order to complete this new fire hall?
Mostly all that's left to be done now, I guess, is downstairs. There's a few little outstanding items upstairs, which is not too much really. Downstairs there's, I guess mostly now is plastering the walls and painting and putting in lockers and putting in the electric heat, and that should pretty well go up downstairs. The building should be all done when that's done.
Okay, how many members do you have in the fire department at present?
Right now we have 30, which is our full complement.
Okay, when is Fire Safety Week scheduled for this year?
Fire Prevention Week this year is October the 6th to the 12th.
Okay, will your activities for this year be taking place in this building or in the old fire?
No, we will be doing everything in this building this year.
Okay, so will you be having demonstrations at the school and open house, same as in previous years?
Yeah, we're open to carry pretty well the same things as we did last year. We'll have open. Well, the fire hall will be open every night during Fire Prevention Week, as has been past practice. And we'll do our regular drills at the schools, and I guess we wanted to do the hospital this year because there's nobody in there other than staff. We'll still be going to the hospital, no doubt. And we're open to have firemen visit the schools, same as we did last year, and we'll be running our fire awareness films, I guess, every night on BBS. So pretty well along the same lines, but we certainly welcome anybody we'd invite everybody to drop in any night of the week and see us and talk about any fire prevention, anything they want to talk about. We have a fair amount of fire prevention literature here, and it's all free, don't cost anybody anything. So we'd only be too happy to see anybody drop in.
Okay, Chief Matthews, well, thanks for talking to us, and I guess we'll see you during Fire Prevention Week.
Hopefully so, Dave, yes. Thank you.
Students at both AJ Matthews and St. John Central High returned to school on Tuesday. I had an interview with Fisheries Officer Mr. Alyster Hann on Friday. Mr. Hann, can you give us a summary of the fishing on Grandy's River for this year?
Well, David, this year was much slower than 1990. There could be several factors contributing to that. The catch this year was less than half of what it was in 1990. We had 417 fish landed that we know of for 1,201 rod days. That is a considerable drop. We can explain the drop in the effort because this year the plant was in full-time operation even on Saturdays and Sundays. And last year the plant was closed during the old season, so therefore the reason for the increase. By and large the river was down some. It was down some as compared to other years.
Okay, how does this year compare with previous years?
Okay, well I got some figures here for you now, and okay, this year 1991, like I said before, we had 417 fish and 1,201 rods. And last year we had 1,013 fish. 1,013 fish for 2,239 rods. And 89 we had 624 fish for 1,620 fish. 978 fish were landed in 1988 and 739 in 1987. So this year, 1991 is the lowest year on the Grandies for 5 years.
Okay, what about water levels this year?
Water levels this year was a disaster, even on opening date. The water levels were really low enough that we could have closed the river right on the opening date. But that would have seemed too ridiculous. And then it went on until about the last of July. The water temperatures got up to such an extent that there was nothing to do. We just had to close the river for a couple of weeks. So the water levels was down compared to other years, although water levels has been a problem in previous years as well.
Okay, is poaching on the increase or is it declining?
You can never be sure what's happening in the poaching field. We're not turning up too many violations, which would lead one to think that poaching was on the decrease. But you can never be sure. By and large, Grandies, we haven't seen too much poaching. We do have poaching in the extent that someone is fishing someone else's license using someone else's tags. There's a bit of jigging going on. A couple of years we had a knitting incident went on up there. But our big concern now is down in the Bay area. And since the river closed, in fact this week, it's been brought to my attention that nits are being used out in the saltwater, the Bay area of Grandies. This is a very, very serious concern of mine. It's something often suspected, but I've had reports this year that there was nits used out there. In fact, there was a person or persons who knitted the Bay area twice. 2 containers of fish have been tossed back and forth, but we're only getting a very small amount of information, and that's the discouraging part, because there's someone out there who knows who that person is. They know when he did it, they know how he did it, and I can't see them not coming forward and cutting us in on the picture, you know. So that's the big concern, and that is the main poaching concern. I would like for the people of Grandies who's using it to come forward and start working with Fisheries and Oceans. We as officers, we're only a medium to cut down on the poaching, just as the Lions Club here in Burgeo is only a medium to get things done. I mean, if someone's house burns down, it's not the Lions Club that contributes the thousands to that person. They're just a medium that goes around and makes the collection and makes that contribution to that person. Well, the enforcement officers here in Burgeo is the same thing. We're only as good as the public out there. And that is a drawback here in Burgeo. We're definitely not getting the cooperation from the people. I read in the Gulf News where in Port Bass, that office, they seized the 100 nits from the salt water. They had 51 violations. The officer there contributes it mainly to their report a poacher line. In Burgeo, we've only ever had 2 calls since that was instituted in the last 5 to 6 years. In the Glenwood area, the anglers on that river, I've seen on television that they've sort of band together to stamp out poaching. I think it's time that poachers were looked at in the true light. A poacher is a thief, make no doubt about it. Judge Roach, he didn't refer to him as a thief. He said that he's stealing, so a person who steals is a thief. And SANE, the Salmon Association, printed posters which we had posted over the brook, and they referred to them as being thieves. And I really think the people in Grandies, there's people with investments of $10,000 to $20,000. There's over 100 people with investments in there. I don't think that they should ever let 2 or 3 destroy it for them. And we can combat it and we can beat it, but we got to have their help. You know, the popular thing of being a poacher, that aspect has got to be thrown one side. He's got to be looked at as a thief. That's exactly what he is.
Okay, Mr. Hann, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, in an effort to try and encourage some working arrangement with the general public, next year in May I would like to probably have a meeting with the anglers in the Burgeo area. That's if the interest is there. So between now and next year in May, there's no point in having the meeting now, because if you have it now, it'll all be forgotten come next year. If there's people out there that's got an interest in fish and think that it's time that we got together and worked together, they expressed that interest to me over the winter, and I'll arrange a meeting in May, and we'll get together and hash that thing out. And that's just to get back to your previous question again now on the poaching thing, you know. I would like at this time to encourage anybody, whether it's in the commercial fishery, the salmon fishery, lobster poaching, or whatever, if they want to somehow get information to me, they can be assured that it will be kept in strict confidence at all times. Write it down, push it under my office door, phone dial a poacher, any way, but some way you can contact me and you can be assured that you will be kept in the strictest of confidence. The only other thing I'd like to say right now, Dave, to clue up is I'd like to thank the 3 guardians who patrolled Grandies this year. I'd like to thank them publicly. It's not an easy job. You do a lot of walking, flies, and it can be abusive in times. You receive a fair amount of abuse. But I really, publicly, I would like to thank these 3 officers who did about 99.9% of that patrol work. And let's hope that next year is better than this one.
Okay, Mr. Hann, thanks for talking to us.
Okay.
Community events. The TV bingo held in aid of cancer research was won by Miss Angelina Bowles. Congratulations, Angelina. The Lioness will be having a TV bingo on Wednesday, September 11th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each, or 6 for $5, and cards are available in most stores around town. Attention dog owners. There are several people allowing their dogs to roam at night. People doing this will be charged under the Dog Control Act. Also, persons walking their dogs are required to have their dog on a leash. BBS is looking for volunteers to help with the filming of events around our community, as well as planning of different programs, filming of bandwagons, etc. A few hours a week is all that it takes to be a BBS volunteer. If you are considering becoming a volunteer, please feel free to drop by at our next meeting on Monday, September 16th at 7 p.m. in the BBS studio. On Wednesday, September 11th at 7 p.m. in St. John the Evangelist Church, Burgeo, the Reverend George Charles will be ordained to the Sacred Order of Priesthood by the Most Reverend S. Stewart Payne. This is the first time in Burgeo's history such an event as this has ever been held there, and this service is open to all who want to attend. Parents of Sparks, Brownies, Girl Guides, and Pathfinders are asked to be at Community Center on Thursday, September 12th from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. for registration. Registration fees are $10 per girl, but if you have 2 or more girls in the movement, the fees are $10 for the first girl, $8 for the second girl, and so on. Girls who would like to join the movement are invited to do so on registration day. Ages for groups are Sparks, 5 years, Brownies, 6 years, Girl Guides, 9 years, and Pathfinders, 12 years of age. The Fisheries Office, Burgeo, have received complaints that people are using groundfish fixed gear without the proper license or no license at all. Increased patrols to try to stop this activity are being put in place. Groundfish fishermen are hereby given notice to make sure that their gear is properly marked with the CFV number. Any unmarked gear will be suspected to be unlicensed gear and will be handled in one of the following 2 manners. Number 1. The gear will be seized. In order to get it back, the owner will have to identify it, go to court, and it will be up to the judge if it is returned or not. Or, number 2, it will be put under stakeout, and if the owner is identified, they will be charged in court. Now over to Mr. Collier with the Town Council report.
Good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to another Town Council report. The following are items discussed at a recent council meeting. Town Manager's Report. Smalls Island Bridge. According to Mr. Kendall, in conversations with engineers working on this project, they are looking at a more realistic completion date around the end of October. Current meetings are being held among company officials, with possibly extending the workday week to ensure the project's completion this fall. The 2 abutments have been completed, with the 5 beams expected to be constructed by the end of September, followed by the construction of the top of the project and the installation of the water line, hopefully finished by the end of October. Incinerator. Phase 1 has been completed, with the fence being finished plus the road upgraded and gravelled. Council is still awaiting formal approval from the Department of Municipal Affairs to call tender for Phase 2 of this project, namely the installation of the incinerator itself. Mr. Kendall has contacted Mr. Gilbert's office in recent days, hoping to facilitate the matter so that tenders for this project can be awarded hopefully by the end of September. With regards to the recently initiated controlled dumping, Mr. Kendall informed Council that he is very pleased with the understanding and cooperation thus far from the citizens of Burgeo. Everyone realizes the environmental factors of such a practice. There is nothing further to report on the proposed improvements to the water system. A report and cost estimates have all been forwarded to the Department of Municipal Affairs. Tenders closed on the proposals from developers for the new health care facility. Although Council has heard nothing specific since the closing date of August the 30th, according to Mr. Gilbert's office, Tenders for the site preparation are expected to be awarded later this month. Mr. Candle informed Council that there has been a lot of interest from prospective developers for this new facility, with provincial as well as mainland firms visiting the proposed site in recent weeks. Council recently looked at preliminary blueprints for any future modifications to the Town Hall to include extensions for a possible museum and other changes as designed by Atlantic Engineering. Although no estimates were given for such changes, Council is at present inquiring into the possibility of some future alterations to the Town Hall, but no decisions have been made at this time. Irving Oil Property. Council was recently informed that Irving Oil Company plans to erect a new chain-link fence around its property. Council had contacted the company to see their future plans for the very necessary improvements to their local property. Irving also have plans to either remove or repair the present wharf. This may be done sometime later, but the new fence is expected to be erected in the very near future. Building Committee. An application to construct a shed on an individual's property had to be tabled for future reference until identifying markers for the boundaries are established. Approval was given to an individual to construct a shed in the rear of his yard on Reach Road. Approval was given to a lounge owner to construct an extension to his business establishment. Correspondence. A letter from residents of Messrs asking the town to buy the house and land adjacent to a proposed road was also read. Council feels, however, the asking price is unreasonable, since the house would have to be demolished and only part of the land is really needed to construct this road. In addition, the cost estimate to construct this road is approximately $8,000. Council is currently pursuing the project and is presently negotiating with the owner of the land. A letter from the Newfoundland Liquor Corporation regarding the liquor agency store was also read. In effect, it stated that where the present agency location is undergoing a change of ownership, their policy is to call for proposals to establish such an agency in the town. Sometime after September 4th, a couple of officials would be visiting the town, and they are asking for the town's cooperation in assisting the Newfoundland Liquor Corporation in any way possible to establish an agency store. A letter from the Newfoundland Labrador Housing Corporation regarding the seniors project stated that after much delay, everything seems to be finalized with Young's construction, and that resumption of this project is expected to begin by September 15th. Pavement is expected to begin on the Burgeo Road by September 23rd and to be completed within a few days. There was some discussion on the use of the old fireman's meeting hall, seeing it is no longer used. The town manager felt that the town itself would probably not have any use for it, but would still be using the town garage and the old fire station. It was generally felt by council that seeing the ground search and rescue had inquired about the old fireman's meeting hall, then council would hand over such property to them, but they, the ground search and rescue, would be responsible for such things as maintenance, upkeep, and utilities. Because the ground search and rescue is under the auspices of the town itself would still be the owner of the property, but the ground search and rescue could use it. There was also some discussion on the past year's performance of the new owners of the fish plant, Seafreeze Foods. It was generally felt that the town has certainly benefited under this new company, and we only hope that it will continue after the upcoming downtime. Well, that's it for another council report. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, good night.
Well, that's it for this week. We hope you enjoyed tonight's program. On behalf of BBS and BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper. Have a great week. Good night.